Ever drop the anchor in paradise and spend sleep questioning your life choices? Well, tonight, Hayden and Radine return to the podcast for the fifth time, live from St. Maarten in the Caribbean aboard their sailboat Island Spirit and Island Packet 35. These seasoned cruisers are sharing wind patterns, routes, and anchorages so you can maneuver around St. Maarten like a pro. We've got charts, real life data, and hard earned advice to help get the most out of your experience in St. Maarten. So grab a drink, jump in the chat, and let's get salty. This one's too good to miss. But first, here we go. Please hit like, subscribe, and share this video. And don't be shy. Drop your comments in the live chat so my guests can reply in real time. I'm Captain Tinsley of Salty Abandon and Island Packet 320 Sailboat. And this is the Salty Podcast, episode 57. Hayden and Radine, welcome to the podcast. Welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah,
hey guys.
Thank you, Tinsley.
Hey, thank you, Tinsley. Appreciate you doing all the work, getting us all in here. You're great at this.
I appreciate you doing the visuals. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
We can, like I said before, I don't even have to come up with questions for you because you organize the agenda. So.
Oh, yes, you do. You can ask lots of questions. You can do that. But
I'm sure I'll come up with questions. But okay, so where would you like to start? Would you like to go ahead and jump in? Tell people where you are.
Well, first of all, you have to notice the Dutch flag over there, and then the French flag over here. So we have the Dutch and the French flag up, of course, with the Island Packet flag, which we always proudly fly. But actually, right now, we've sailed from St. Maarten back to Antigua because there was a lull in the eastern trade winds. And whenever that happens, you want to go east. So we left St. Maarten about a week ago, and we moved over to Antigua, which is our home base area. But we've spent, I don't know, 3 weeks, 4 weeks this season up in St. Maarten.
Okay. Yeah, because I know how much you love St. Maarten. I was thinking that you were still there. But cool. I know Antigua is also a favorite place of yours.
Yeah, Antigua's our home base for hauling out and launching. But next year when we launch, we've decided already we're going to go immediately back to St. Maarten because there's so many good services there. And you'll see with the charts and how the island is laid out. We want to rebuild a solar array there and do some modifications on the boat. And it's just it's one of the top islands to go boating to because of the two countries. The one side is French and the other side is Dutch. Right, Radine? What do you like about it?
Oh, I like the fact that in a minute you can dinghy from the Dutch side over to the French side, have a wonderful crepe for lunch and red wine, and turn around and come back to the Dutch side and do your shopping. So it's great.
Yeah, Radine with her sweets. She likes these pastry shops and the French cafes and her French the crepes that they make and
almond croissants.
Oh, the almond croissants. Yeah, you got to have an almond croissant and a coffee when you're in France. Yes.
Absolutely. So you are winding down because it's usually in May when you go back, right?
Yeah. We have another month yet. We haul out basically on May 2nd and we fly home on May 5. So we have another couple more weeks yet, and we're going to sail around Antigua, hopefully up to Barbuda, and go back to the pink sand beaches up in Barbuda, and then come back and downrig and haul the boat out and go through the storage process. We go kind of crazy on taking the boat apart for storage, and then it gets hauled out to land and bolted down to the ground and ready for hurricane season. Yeah.
You know what? We should do an episode on that, on how you get the boat ready for, what do you call it?
Downrigging. I keep a Google document of every day what we do.
I'm sure you do.
And it's 7 days of work usually that we log, that every task we do to the boat, and then we use that to reverse it when we come back. We take everything out. We pull all the lines and ropes and halyards, and everything goes down below out of the weather. Yeah. Most people don't do all that.
I bought that tape that you used to cover your teak.
Yep.
I haven't used it. It's still in the box.
The protective cap rail tape is where you can tape that over your hatches and your ports and your teak, and anything you want to cover up and protect out of the sun when you're storing your boat.
The
that
hatches,
protective
yeah.
caprail tape from National Marine Warehouse in Fort Lauderdale. That's stuff is fantastic. I've been using it 5 years now. I love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna break it out here soon, but
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So you're
just tape a hatch and see what it does. Just tape over a hatch and cover it up and go, oh, this is pretty good. And then a week later, peel it off and see how it comes off clean.
well, in the summertime, it gets hot in the boat,
Right.
in
Right.
July, and so I
Right.
usually put like small hand towels on.
Yeah.
You know how you have the screen that's in between
Right.
inside the. I usually put it in there, but I could just cover the
Take the
hatches
white
in the
tape, take the
Yeah.
white tape and tape the outside of the hatch, tape it down, and then just trim it with a pair of scissors, make it look nice, and it'll
Wow.
stay on for a year.
Tip
It's
of the
amazing.
day from Hayden.
Yeah. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
The
Yeah.
nice thing about that is it protects the Lexan in the hatch, so it won't craze
Yeah.
and discolor as quickly in the sun compared to
Right.
putting the towels in the screen.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it gets pretty hot here on the Alabama Gulf Coast, just like
Yeah.
just like in the Caribbean.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, you ready to jump in?
Yeah, let's look at the first slide. Let's look at the
Okay.
first screen
I
there.
love it.
That's kind of the overview.
There we go.
The nice thing about this slide is basically if you don't know where St. Maarten is, it gives you a perspective from Puerto Rico all the way down to Guadeloupe. And you can see it's in the middle there. And it's 90 miles east of the U.S. Virgin Islands. And the interesting thing about where it's located, it's in the Leeward Islands. And then you see where Guadeloupe, and directly above Guadeloupe is Antigua. That's where we are right now. That's the beginning of the Windward Islands. And the Windward Islands run basically south from Antigua. And the Leeward Islands basically run downwind from Antigua back to Puerto Rico. So the biggest challenge when you are coming out to Dutch St. Maarten or St. Maarten from the U.S., you reach Puerto Rico and you kind of feel like I made it. I'm here, and then it's only 45 miles from Puerto Rico over to St. Thomas, and then you reach the U.S. Virgin Islands and you're like, I got it made. I'm in the Virgin Islands. I've reached paradise, and you have. The U.S. Virgin Islands are really, really fantastic, along with the BVIs. We've spent many years doing those islands. And then it's 90 miles east of the U.S. Virgin Islands to get to St. Maarten. Well, the problem is the trade winds. You see the arrows of all the trade winds blowing. The trade winds are east. They very rarely are anything other than 080, 090, or maybe 100, right?
Absolutely.
And then the only other variable of 10 degrees north and 10 degrees south of east, the only other variable is the trade winds are 10, 15, 20, 25 knots, gusting 30 knots. So this 90-mile passage, it's called the Anegada Passage, and it's been nicknamed the Oh My Gotta Passage is the nickname that it's been given. Because people are like, I am not doing that.
The Mona Passage?
Yeah, no, it's not the Mona. The Mona's
No,
back
I mean,
in
is
the
it worse than that?
Yes, it can be. It can be,
Okay.
but there's an easy solution. You simply wait in the Virgin Islands 7 to 10 days till a front comes off the east coast of USA, and it pushes these trade winds back, and the trade winds will drop to 10 knots, maybe 10 to 15. And especially overnight, at night, the trade winds die down a little bit. So you leave the U.S. Virgin Islands at sunset, and you go out to sea, and you have about a 15-hour passage of 90 miles at six knots, and you arrive at St. Maarten at daybreak. Sun's coming up over the mountain, and you're looking at Marigot, and you're coming into either Marigot or you come into Simpson Bay anchorage, and we've come in there Christmas Eve on midnight already, right?
Yeah.
And dropped anchor. It's very easy to pull into St. Maarten in the middle of the night if you do, but if you leave at sunset back at the Virgin Islands, it's the next morning you arrive at St. Maarten, and you just have to wait.
Bridge?
Yeah, you're outside the bridge. You just have to wait for the trade winds to die down, which they do every 10 days, about, right?
Sometimes 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we
have to be patient, but it will happen.
Right.
That
When
they'll
you're
go
sailing,
down.
you got to be patient.
We were just in St. Martin for 21 days, and we had family and friends fly in and visit. And then we decided that we were going to stay another week. And we looked at the weather and looked at the forecast, looking ahead. And the forecast ahead it was calm the whole 21 days we were there. There was like 5-mile-an-hour winds. It was the Heineken Regatta. They were frustrated it wasn't good wind for sailing. So 3 weeks of no wind. Family leaves. We're like, we have 2 more days of no wind. We want to stay another week. After the 2 days, the wind was back to 20 knots east. And we said, okay, we know how that is. We got to go. And we left. We left immediately as soon as our family left.
Our family left at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and by 3 we were in the customs office checking out for the next morning.
Sadly,
yeah.
And
we caught the 8:30 bridge out.
Made the 8:30 bridge out, and we were gone and got back east, because from St. Martin to Antigua is about maybe 100 miles, 120 miles. It's a bit of a hike, because you go from St. Martin down to St. Bart's, and then from St. Bart's you go down to Antigua. And it's a good push. You can stop in St. Kitts and Nevis to shorten it and make it 2 50-mile days and then go east. But no matter how you do it, you eventually have to go due east. You can see you're going straight into the trade winds. It's just, that's the whole challenge of the Caribbean, is reaching Antigua. Antigua is your corner. That's where you want to get to. And once you get there, everything you will sail is north and south. And that's beam reaching.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
That's
nice.
That's why Antigua's our base. That's
Okay,
why
gotcha.
we pushed out here. Yeah.
There's always a reason for everything with you guys.
Well,
Good
yeah,
reasons.
that's the lay of the land there. If you go to the next slide, we can just look at the island itself.
All right.
Okay, so here's the whole lay of the island. And you can see a couple harbors around the perimeter of it. Again, you have to visualize trade winds blowing from the right to the left of this screen, from east to west. So the top of the island is French, and the bottom of the island is Dutch. And tell us about the lagoon, Radine. Look at these lagoons.
The lagoon is diagonally divided with the country border, and you can enter from the north side where the arrow points to Marigot. That's the French side, or you can enter from the Simpson Bay anchorage into the lagoon.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And once you've cleared in either side of the countries, you're allowed to dinghy back and forth without going through customs.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to drive back and forth in a car without going through customs.
Right.
So it's really a great location.
Yeah, what we like about the lagoon is, and we'll zoom in on the lagoon in a second, but if you just look at the whole lay of the island, you have the French on the north, the Dutch on the bottom, and the Dutch are known for businesses, and they're brilliant at services. So all the yacht services and everything, you could rebuild your entire boat in Dutch St. Martin. Every possible system that you need to rebuild, you can get it done there. You can buy it here. There's no duties on things here. And then while you
reasonably, the services
are
reasonable?
The prices are great. You buy everything in Dutch St. Martin. This is where you buy your stuff, and then you sail down island, and you have your spares and your parts and your repair things you need.
We even brought our paint with us.
Yeah,
bottom paint.
We bought the bottom paint here to bring down to Antigua to paint the boat, because it's hundreds of dollars cheaper. That's the Dutch side of St. Martin. So, and then you got the French side up top, which has all the cafes and the wine shops and the bakeries and the delicious restaurants and beaches. And, I prefer the bottom side where it says Simpson Bay Lagoon. I prefer the bottom down here, because in the Caribbean, you get these north swells that run down. Whenever there's a big storm north of the Caribbean up towards Bermuda, and again, a low pressure comes off the East Coast, the swell is happening, and the north swell is running down. And this, you can see on the French side, the north waves would crash in on that cove there. We've been in there anchored, and there might have been a 6-foot swell coming through. And when you would come back to your boat in the dinghy, you would have to time when the boat would go up and down 6 feet and the dinghy would go up and down, and you'd have the time when you could jump onto the boat. So it can get really sketchy on the Marigot side with the north swell. That can be a little treacherous, but
inside the lagoon, it's calm because it's completely landlocked except for the two bridges.
So now if you go to the next slide, we focus in on just the lagoon. Okay, now look at this. This is where paradise, in my opinion, happens. Now, what you're looking at here is just what's called Simpson Bay Lagoon. But notice the black line, it runs through the middle of the lagoon. So the north side is French and the bottom side is Dutch. So you have two countries owning the lagoon. So so you have a
here's the line.
you have a border there.
Jumping out
You have a border there between the French and the Dutch.
Right.
When you enter the lagoon, we come in from the bottom, down at the bottom where it says the Dutch bridge. We come into there, and then we anchor in the center of that lagoon. But we've also come in from the top, up at the top where it says anchor, and it says the French bridge. That bridge opens once a day, and you can come in, morning and night.
Once a day? Really?
It opens at 8:30 and opens at like 5 o'clock. And you could come into there, and then you could get on the top side of the lagoon. There is a bridge in the middle called the Causeway Bridge, and that bridge in the center opens then relative to the other two bridges when they open. So you can come in either bridge and still go through the center bridge to the north or the south, depending upon which side of the island you want to be on, whether you want to be on the Dutch side or the French side.
So the Dutch bridge opens 7 times a day. I have it written down so I don't make a mistake. Yeah. Outbound, it opens at 8:30, 10:30, and 4. And inbound, it opens at 9:30, 11:30, 2 o'clock, and 5 o'clock.
Right.
That next to the last time used to be 3 o'clock, but they changed it to 2 o'clock to accommodate road traffic better. So one of the fun things to do in St. Maarten is the yacht club on the Dutch side is right at the Dutch bridge on the south side of the bridge.
Yeah.
And they have a huge deck. And in the afternoon, people will gather with their drinks and watch the 4 o'clock opening and the 5 o'clock opening.
Right here?
Yeah, right in there. We'll zoom into that in a minute. But before we leave the screen and go to the yacht club, because the next screen shows the yacht club.
Okay.
Look back at the left of this screen and you see Maho Beach.
Yeah.
And you also see the airplane flight path.
Yeah, we were there we got to experience that.
Okay, this what we're talking about.
This is one of the things everybody does at St. Maarten. You go around to Maho Beach. The jets are coming in between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you get on the beach there, and literally they fly right over your head at 20 feet above your head, and they land, because the runway's short. And the other crazy thing people do is they go and they stand at the fence when a jet is taking off, and then the jet throws sand and debris and rubble in your face. Yeah. And then you fly down, you get thrown down the beach from the jet wash and fly into the water, and people have goggles on protecting their eyes. They're just not, half of them are drunk most of the time, but it's hilarious because people do this. They stand behind a jumbo jet taking off, and they're literally maybe, I don't know.
They would never allow that in America.
Wow.
Too many lawyers.
They're 50
yards.
I'm going to say they're 50 yards from the jet engine.
Right.
And they're just getting hit by this. We stand to the side and watch this chaos. It's definitely something that everybody does. So you can take your dinghy around and go to the beach. We've not done that. We usually take a cab around and go to the little, beach bar that's there, get a burger or something.
That little bar there. That's where I watched everybody doing all this nonsense.
Yeah, it's there's a bar on both sides of the beach. It's really, really fun. It's because the runway is right there. It's really something to see. It's amazing. I mean, it's amazing how close you can be to a jet.
It's one of their best attractions.
Absolutely.
It's pretty cool it's popular. Everybody does it. So that's the whole lay of the lagoon. Now, the next slide, we zoom in the bottom of the lagoon, which is our happy little spot. Right there is us, the little X in the middle of the screen.
Okay.
That's where we drop anchor or take a mooring ball. And you can see the little yacht club arrow, and that's where the little bridge is that you come in and out of. And then what we do every day is we take the dinghy from the X under the bridge and go around to the beach, because there's a beach right there. It's called Buccaneer Beach, and it is a fantastic beach. So we go there and go swimming every day, and that's our beach. And the center island called the Mega Yacht, little message there. That's where all the 100-footers come in, and they come under the bridge and they go right to that center island. It's called Snoopy Island, and it's a private gated island, one road onto the island, and that's where all the mega yachts get their service done. So we never dock there, obviously. We're out in the lagoon. And then if you look at the arrow pointing down to the south of the lagoon, you can see all the key Dutch businesses that are down there. You have, starting at the top, you got Bobby's Marina. That's where you get hauled out if you need to get bottom work done. And then you got Island Water World, which is where the fuel dock is and the water dock is. And that's the best chandlery right there, right? Yeah. You can buy anything at Island Water World. And then there's Lagoon Marina, which is where Lagoonies is. And then you got Blue Pearl Marina, and then you got Budget Marine. So everything is down in the bottom of this Dutch side of the lagoon, and you just dinghy down here every day. There's a laundry.
A few other businesses that aren't marked on this chart are one of the best rigging companies in the Caribbean, FKG Rigging.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a sailmaker at a loft down at the bottom of the lagoon as well. And you were going to bring up laundry. Laundry is always so important to cruisers. And one of the nice things about the Caribbean is there's very few laundromats. Instead, you take your laundry to a service and they do it for you. And it's reasonably priced and you get it back maybe folded the way you like and maybe not, but it's clean and it smells good. So the laundry is at Lagoonies, which makes the Lagoon Marina even more attractive. You can drop off your laundry and have lunch and a drink.
There's a Yanmar dealer there.
That's right.
Fuel filters are $10 a filter. He gets any part you need for your engine. It's ground zero. That Lagoon Marina, Lagoonies, is ground zero for the cruisers. That's where everybody goes every night to gather up. There's bands playing. There's musicians that perform, acoustic music. It's
they do live jams.
It's just really, really a sweet place. And you're inside this lagoon, so there's no swell, there's no wave action. It's very calm, and it's pretty clean. It's surprisingly clean because there's a current that flows through here, and the tide comes up and down. So
it's a great spot.
It's a great spot. So there's the yacht club. You go to the yacht club in the morning for breakfast if you want. You watch the yachts going out at the 8:30 morning, and then you go to the yacht club in the evenings for
the 4 o'clock
burgers and 4 o'clock, 4,
and
5, 6 o'clock. The yachts are going, and we're talking 100, 150 foot yachts, 24 feet wide, barely fit through the bridge. And it's quite a scene. You're right there next to them as they go past. Everybody's yelling and hooping and hollering, and these.
And during the Heineken regatta, there was 120 boats that were registered for it, and most of them were anchored or docked in the lagoon. So you could see boats of all sizes, and the crews had fun dressing up together. There was a boat from Canada that all wore flannel shirts and lumberjack hats, and they all had pretend axes. And some of the crews will sing songs, so it's really fun to see.
Yeah, it's really great.
I have a question about the bridge. You said that certain times you can go in and certain times you can go out.
Yep.
So right. It's regulated.
The dinghies can come and go all the time, but
that's a great idea. That just keeps it from getting all
right. It's well run. There's a set schedule when the bridge will open, and that's only for inbound vessels.
One-way traffic. Right?
Yeah. So everybody lines up outside, and and you radio the bridge tender, you say, I'm coming in, Island Spirit, you can line up, whatever. Then they open, and then everybody gets in line, goes through, bridge, nobody's coming out. Because it's only about, 24 feet wide. It's not very wide. And one lift goes up, and you go right in, and you're right next to the yacht club, and people are right there. It's very entertaining.
So much sense.
It's very entertaining, but it's also nerve-wracking. Radine drives through the bridge. I'm taking photographs of it. It's kind of fun. She has no fear driving the boat. So it's like
good. No, you've been doing it a long time.
It's great. Yeah, 25 years. We know this boat. So yeah, that yacht club, the Simpson Bay Yacht Club, it's wonderful.
Called St. Maarten Yacht Club.
St. Maarten Yacht Club is wonderful. Yeah, we love it. That's who runs all the regattas. So now the next slide, I think I go up to the Marigot, the French side. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So this goes back to looking at the whole lagoon. And again, you see the airport there. You see the X where we anchor. And then you see the Dutch shops down at the bottom. And you see the beaches that you can dinghy out to. And then you want to go, well, let's go get a croissant. Let's go get a coffee. So you take the dinghy up to the French side of the island and you zip up through there with the dinghy. And you got two ways to go. You can go stay in the lagoon and end up at the French shops on the inside. And there's coffee shops and pastries right there and grocery stores. Or you can go through the little bridge and go out to the outside and come into the beach side where there's a dinghy dock. And you're in the town, right in the center of town where the shops are and the little street vendors are and coffee shops. And
it's the name of the town is Marigot, and it is the capital of French St. Maarten. And in 2001, it was our privilege to be there for Bastille Day, which is the big French celebration, July 14th. So it was very fun to see the people in the band all dressed in their white uniforms, and there were speeches in French. Of course, we couldn't understand them, but
the French.
It was very, very serious. It was a very somber celebration. Unlike Carnival, which happens every Tuesday night, there's a little carnival in another French town. We'll tell you about that in a minute.
I got a slide for that. But yeah, the French, I just see that the French are so passionate about life. Everything they do, to me, seems over the top. I mean, even a cup of coffee, it's just beautifully presented and just really nicely made. And they present it with a little cookie or something, it's not just a Starbucks, here's your coffee, go. I don't know. It's something, there's something about the French that I really admire and I really like. And their coffee shops and pastry shops and restaurants, they present food as art. I mean, it's just, you get a French meal, it doesn't matter what it is so beautifully prepared and presented.
And they're very proud.
And they're really proud of this. They just live a whole different perspective than Americans do. It's obvious. It's so obvious. And we love it. We love it.
They're so leisurely with dining. You just relax and visit with your guests, and there's nobody
rushing you. Here's your check.
Right.
Your hurry.
No one rushes. You have to beg for the check.
They never come back and say, and like hand you the check and say, move on. It's like, you have to, are we going to get a check? Are we finished here? And they're like, well, we don't want to rush anybody. I mean, it's just, France is phenomenal. And the French islands that we've sailed into are a dream. They absolutely are a lifetime sailor's must-do destination. There's no question about it. You gotta sail to a French island, and you will experience this and see how incredible it really is.
Yeah.
It's really wonderful. We love it. So that's another reason why we like this island. You have half of it is French, and half of it is
the
Dutch.
Dutch are different than what you just described. The French are.
Dutch,
you want to get your work done down in the Dutch part,
right?
But if you want good service and good food, and
the Dutch are all about business and trading, buying and selling, right?
Oh,
and move on.
They get things done. I mean, French West Indies Trading Company, right?
No,
Dutch West Indies Trading Company from back in the 1600s. Mm-hmm. They were the traders of the world. They bought and sold things, and so now on this island they have all the businesses.
So you got the best of everything there.
That's why it's such a great destination. That's why St. Maarten has got everything. You got both worlds here in a little tiny island with a lagoon in the center of it to anchor, or you can anchor out off these beaches. I mean, it's
got everything.
It's got it all.
I know you told me this before, but why is it that you don't keep your boat there? Because it's more expensive than Antigua?
No, the prices are the same all through the Caribbean, from Puerto Rico down to Grenada. It's all within $1,000 of each other. It's not a big savings one to the other.
The reason that we wouldn't store our boat there is St. Maarten is flatter than Antigua, and so it's not as sheltered. And when they got hit many years ago by hurricanes Luis and Marilyn back to back, they took terrible damages. So we would not leave our boat there because of that. Here in Antigua, it's very mountainous, and the place we haul out is very sheltered.
Yeah, you want to be in a concrete yard. You want to be on concrete with hurricane tie down straps that are into concrete, and here,
mountains behind you.
Yeah, mountains and cliffs around you. And this yard here in Antigua, they actually weld the jack stands together, making a cradle for your boat. I mean, they do a lot of things where other yards, you get on jack stands and they chain them together, and your jack stands are sitting on gravel or dirt or sand, and they put a little square board under the foot of the jack stand. And when the wind and the storms come and the jack stand starts vibrating, the little board under the foot flies out because the stand's moving, and the board flies out, and the jack stand sinks into the sand and gravel, and the boat falls over. Concrete, that doesn't happen. You're sitting on a concrete pad, way more stable, and then they strap you down with 8 hurricane straps, 4 on each side, 2 from midship, and then bow and stern each side, into the concrete footers, and winch those down. We took 220-mile-an-hour winds in Hurricane Irma and Maria in Puerto Rico. We didn't fall over. We were on concrete. We were strapped down. A building blew up and sheet metal wrapped around our mast and broke our mast. So you don't know about flying debris, but the boat didn't fall over. It's how they get strapped down is the key, and what surface are you on?
Another tip of the day from Hayden and Radine. Right here on the Salty Podcast.
Get on concrete. Get your jack stands on concrete.
That's going to be a clip. That's a valuable tip that you just gave me.
Let's see what the next slide is. The next slide from French Marigot. I think I zoomed in on Marigot, and we look at the harbor up there.
Did I go to the right one?
I don't see a slide.
I don't see a slide yet.
I'm sorry. It would help if I added it to the screen. Yeah,
the
there
Wine,
it is. Cheese, Cafe,
that's the right one.
Wine, cheese, cafes, bakeries, paradise. It's France. Dinghy to France. This is why we love it. We're back down in the bottom of the lagoon in the Dutch side, but this is a 5-minute dinghy ride. Now,
that seems like it's more convenient than going outside here.
It is. There's 2 ways to go. We normally go on the inside.
Sure.
And then you walk over to town. But if you got to pick up a lot of stuff, like a case of nice Bordeaux red wine, you go outside and you have a less distance to walk to carrying your case of red wine. So you go out the little channel there and you go across the moorings. Now, sadly, the town of Marigot put in moorings here. We've anchored here where it says moorings, and the city put in, I'm going to say 40 mooring balls, 50. They covered the entire anchorage with mooring balls.
Wow.
Well, the cruiser said, sorry, we don't do that. So the cruisers moved. They moved to the top around the marina. You see the circular marina at the top with an arrow says anchor. They all moved up around there. They went on the north side of that marina and they anchor there. And they went to the bottom of the mooring field to the left of the channel and they anchored there. And all the mooring balls are empty. It's a joke.
Are they really expensive or something?
Like $40, $50 probably. I don't know what they cost, but nobody uses them. I don't care if they're $5. The cruising community is like, no, we are not paying for a mooring ball. We used to anchor here and it was fine. So it's kind of been a bitter thing. It didn't really work out, but there's probably 50 empty moorings right there. So you dinghy through the mooring field, zigging and zagging like you're.
They should just make them free.
Yeah, they really should. They really should. Yeah. And the dinghy dock is great. And then you walk into town and tell them about the town. Little Marigot.
This is the dinghy dock right here?
Yeah, dinghy dock's at the end of the arrow. At the end of the arrow there.
Where it says dinghy dock. Okay.
Right there, dinghy dock. And there's another one down at the other arrow that's inside the lagoon.
Right.
So you got 2 dinghy docks.
There.
Yeah, right there. You got 2 dinghy docks right there in Marigot. And they're close to grocery stores.
Right. Each one of these is close to a great grocery store. So
why don't you describe a French grocery store?
Well, they are different. It's surprising how they have meats and cheeses like we would have for sandwiches, and they're sliced and packaged beautifully in individual or maybe a serving for 2 people. And so there's just packages and packages, and everything's very fresh. It feels a little wasteful because it's so much packaging for such a small quantity of food, but that's how they do it.
So good.
And then there's more yogurt than you've ever seen in your life, and more juice than you've ever seen in your life. A small grocery store will have an entire aisle of just juices. It's amazing.
Piles of baguettes.
Oh yeah,
just
baguettes by the dozen.
Yeah, I don't eat bread because it raises my blood sugar too much. But piles of baguettes and pastries, and a French grocery store is amazing. And the wine, I do like wine. I like Bordeaux wines. I like heavy red wine, and cheese is great. So cheese and red wine, I'm in paradise. And they will sell some of the finest tasting French Bordeaux wine for €8. It's subsidized by the French government. These islands they help to pay for things to keep the cost down for the locals. Well, you travel to a French island, you sail into a French island, and you'll notice things are reasonably priced from a cruising standpoint, because the French government is helping the locals afford to live here. So Bordeaux wine, I've had $4, $5, $6, $8, $10, $12 bottles of Bordeaux wine. They're all fantastic. It's amazing.
And so how much would that be here?
Oh, euro is $1.
Right now, the conversion is 1 to 1.
Euro is 1 to 1. So $8 for a bottle of wine. The best red wine you've probably ever had. It's amazing. So, yeah, they have really good wine shops, and we like the coffee shops. We drink a lot of coffee and teas, and Radine likes her pastries, and I like my cheese. So
yeah, we're pretty happy there.
We're pretty happy with the coffee shops. Yeah, that's great. So we'll go back to the next slide. I think the next slide I go up the island to the Grand Cas.
No, I think you go back to the Dutch side. You're alternating.
So you dinghy to the Dutch side.
Let's see what the next slide is.
Okay. Oh, it's right. It's not up there. Sorry.
Yep, we're on the Dutch side.
Oh, yes.
Now.
I went down to this cruise ship town. On the south side of the island is the cruise ship terminal. And there'll be 2, 3, 4,
7,
6 cruise ships in here at one time. And then they taxi people into the shops because the ships are a little bit out of town. You can walk. It's a little bit of a hike.
Is this it right here? What is it?
Yeah.
Phillips?
Oh, no.
Phillips?
The shops are up where it says shops.
And then the cruise ships are docked at those long piers at the south side.
So you got the shops in town. The town is called Philipsburg. Mm-hmm. And then it's a beach, a beautiful beach, Crescent Beach there. You can anchor your boat off of it. And there's a marina there. Bobby's Marina's there.
And there's a beautiful boardwalk, the length of that whole beach.
Yeah, it's a great little city to walk around the shops and buy touristy things. And we've never anchored in here. We've been in this town 10 times probably. First time we were here was 1996 on another person's sailboat. So it's great.
There's a great bus system in St. Martin. So we often just take the bus. It's either $1 or $2 to get wherever you want to go.
Okay. We just made sure we were not in Philipsburg when the ships were in.
Yeah.
Very smart of you.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good idea to see what the ship schedule is, but pretty much every day there's ships in there.
We could see them offshore coming in because we were staying on the Dutch side.
Right.
Like, hurry up, let's go shopping. Hurry, quick.
Well, they run between here and St. Thomas. They're going back, it's a standard run because St. Thomas is only
90 miles.
90 to 100. No, it's maybe 100 miles up to St. Thomas, whatever. Yeah. So that's Philipsburg on the south of the island. Now the next slide, which I think might be the last slide, goes up to the top of the island. Yes. Grand Cas. Wow. French little town here. Describe this, Radine.
It's a little village. On the chart, every little square you see is a building, so you can see how small it really is. You can count the buildings.
Yeah. I think we drove over there. It's like a real beautiful beach.
It is.
They're all on the beach. They're all on the beach. They're all restaurants and cafes and shops.
So you dinghy in. There's a dinghy dock where you can dinghy onto the beach. And it's just like 4 or 5 blocks long and wonderful restaurants. And the first time we were there was in 1991, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually had found a restaurant by using this is going to show how old I am, a website called Prodigy.
Yeah.
And there were discussion boards in Prodigy. And so I found a St. Martin travel discussion board and found a restaurant that we tried. So that was a good memory. There's another harbor at the very north side of this chart called Anse Marcel. And we drove up by car there this time for the first time. And we found out that we probably will never go there by boat. It was very narrow and very crowded. And so that's not our kind of place.
But when you're anchored in this little Grand Casse, there's a snorkeling spot right to the north of there. And we've snorkeled that a couple times. It's fabulous and really, really good. Yeah. And again, this little harbor is treacherous if there's a north swell coming, because the waves, the swell can be 4, 6, 8 feet. It's far apart. It rolls in here from the north, hits the beach, and recoils back. It's the recoil that really makes the anchorage, very uncomfortable. So you get the waves coming in and then the recoil coming off the beach, and it's really not good. So you will not be anchored here if there's a north swell coming. People will go around the island and come down to the bottom to Simpson Bay Lagoon, and come into Lagoon. So you have options. You don't really get stuck if it's bad weather. But this is
pretty much like to hang out in Simpson Bay.
Yeah, it's too easy. It's too easy.
Another resource to know about on this map is south of here, back in Marigot. There's a business called Shrimpies. It's a laundry service and an outboard dinghy service. And that gentleman for over 20 years has run the Cruiser's Net, which is in the mornings every day. I think it's at 8:30.
Mike.
His name is Mike at Shrimpies Laundry. And he does the weather, and he helps people sell and buy things that they need. He helps people find parts they need.
Just like in Georgetown.
It's
exactly.
It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And all social events get announced and people say when they've arrived, and people announce when they're leaving. So yes, you're right. It's just like Georgetown, and it gives a real sense of community to the whole island.
We've given a lot of things.
And what channel is it?
Oh, you stumped me.
Oh, I don't remember.
What?
I should know, but I don't.
I know.
I think it's 12. I'm pretty sure it's channel 12.
Yeah, here it's 74.
Well, it won't be hard to find.
Each island's a different VHF net. Yeah.
68 is Georgetown. I know that.
Yeah. And the other thing, all of these islands and all these harbors, they all have Facebook groups.
Okay.
So, when you cruise into an island, the first thing you do is you check out the Facebook group and you join it. There'll be a group. And you can sell things, buy things, trade things, help somebody fix something on their boat. It's really kind of fun.
In most
you
countries,
help a lot of people, especially the island packet people.
Yeah. We're
a thing that's nice to know is it's often not legal to sell parts to someone who's local without paying the duty on it. But to sell from one cruising boat to another cruising boat is legal.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I have any more slides there, Tinsley. You'd have to go back to the first one and look at the big overview picture again.
Oh, I see Jeff
drinking
Gaber's
Bordeaux. Drinking Bordeaux now. Jeff Gaber. That's my boat buddy right there.
Did you meet him there or you?
No, Jeff Gaber and I have been sailing together 30 plus years, and he's sailed on Island Spirit many times. Yes.
Cool.
Yes. Jeff and his wife Sharon had 3 island packets.
Yes.
They had a 31, a 35, and a 420.
And they don't anymore?
No, they've sold their Lucille to another cruising couple. Now the boat's name is Mango.
Yeah, Mango 420 now.
That's a great name.
Yeah. But Jeff, enjoy that Bordeaux. That's a fine bottle. I know you. Go back to the overview picture again, Tinsley, which was the first slide.
Did you want me to bring up that restaurant, Lagoonies?
Sure. If you found it.
if you can find that, but there's the lagoon back there.
Let me see if I can pull that up.
Go one forward.
One more? I thought that was the first one.
No, that's the first. Go forward one.
Okay.
Second there. Oh, one more. I'm sorry. One more forward. There. That's the big picture. That's the whole concept of what you would want to know about St. Martin, and with the French side of the lagoon, the Dutch side of the lagoon, the beaches down at the bottom, the French island, the French town of Marigot at the top, the airport runway beach, the Maho Beach right there, the Dutch businesses down at the bottom. And the first time we came here, we just sat on the anchorage out at the bottom down there where it says anchor. Right. We anchored there for weeks on end. It gets a little rolly, and I was nervous to go under the bridges and to go into the lagoon. But after we sat a week or two out there rocking and rolling, we said, let's get in the lagoon and check this out.
Now, why were you nervous?
I don't know. I just was nervous with the bridge.
You got your boat there. I think you can handle it.
The bridges, I've been on thousands of bridges, but this bridge is little. But so I was worried about going into the lagoon and not knowing the lay of the land. But the whole lagoon's 6, 8, 10 feet deep everywhere. And we just went in and found a place to drop anchor. And it was sort of near the end of the runway. The jets take off towards the lagoon. So
you were anchored right in here.
Yeah.
And that's a no anchor zone.
Oh,
because
no.
It's marked off like you can't anchor there because the jets could hit your mast, but they don't, obviously. So I was right up against the no anchoring zone of the airport takeoff runway. It was kind of fun, but it's really exciting. It's real nice. But now I know the guy that has the mooring balls, and we rented a mooring ball. A mooring ball in this lagoon was $15 a night.
Oh my gosh!
Was that a deal?
That is a deal.
$15 a night. Yep.
So is that labeled here? Where's the?
Well, he's got 10. He's got 10 up on the French side. He's got one mooring ball.
You're talking about outside on the outside?
No,
inside.
Inside the lagoon. They're all around that little island right there where your mouse is.
Right here.
They're all right around there.
Okay.
Yep. He's got 10 mooring balls there and one down in the middle of the Dutch side where we took. We took the one on the Dutch side.
Okay. So that's where you like to be, is right there.
I prefer the Dutch side, but it's ridiculous to check in with the Dutch. It's kind of stupid. You're better off to come to the top side and come in Marigot, check in at the French side, which takes 32 seconds, and then you're into the country, and then you drive through the lagoon wherever you want to be.
That's a good tip.
When you come into the bottom side and you come into the Dutch side, it takes you an hour and a half and your firstborn son to be able to check into the Dutch side. And then you get through the Dutch customs and you're welcome into the Dutch side. Right. So, we've
done both.
We've done both. We like checking in on the French side.
Okay.
But since
we're going to be, another tip of the day.
Another tip of the day. Dutch side, hour and a half. French side, 32 seconds.
All right, now I'm going to pull up this. This
Lagoonies.
place.
Yeah, look at Lagoonies. It's such a happy spot. It's one of those happy places cruisers go to.
You have a lot of happy places.
We enjoy where we are usually.
Okay, so this is on a website, but this is what came up. Is this
there? It is.
Okay.
Yep.
So local gym which combines delicate taste of the French side with fun.
They have a French chef.
Of the Dutch.
They have a French chef, which we love.
Okay.
She's wonderful.
Oh.
They make wonderful meals, and it's a little bar, and all the cruisers hang out here.
When the locals clock out and the sailors docked at Lagoon Marina in the
Lagoonies, and I think dockage here is like $1 a foot. It's cheap to dock here, but we've never docked. We don't dock anywhere. We always are an anchor.
The trick about docking at all the marinas on this island is it's always a med-moor. There's no finger pierce, so there's no side tie.
Yeah.
So you have to have a way to be able to get on and off the back of your boat to get onto the dock. So that's too difficult for us.
I'm looking at this $1.50 beers and $2 rum punches.
It's true.
It's true.
That's like
that's
1970s prices.
Happy hour
every day from 4 to 6. Those are the prices, and their rum punches are delicious. Yeah, I can vouch for them.
It's a good and live music.
2 or 3 nights a week. Yeah,
it's the best. Everybody goes to Lagoonies.
Here's the menu.
Yep, it's number 1. You'll go to Lagoonies and you'll go to the Yacht Club, and then you go to Marigot. Okay. Those are the three places.
Hot spots,
3 hot spots. Yeah. Well, that was fun, Tinsley.
Yeah. We got it. Let's see. We're at 49 minutes.
Hey,
we're trying to keep it at 45. We're doing pretty good.
I was trying to keep it at 45. I didn't want to bore anybody.
No, they don't have to watch the whole thing.
I know, but they can listen.
And we'll be doing the clips. So
Exactly.
you made some good. You gave us some good inside information to do some clips with. So
wonderful.
Well,
wonderful.
Thank you so much. What's the next one going to be about?
You said about putting the boat away, but that's pretty boring. I don't think we want to do that. I think we want to just focus on French islands, Martinique.
Okay, so the next one we'll do Martinique, and you might be home by then. Right?
Yes, we should be home in May 5, hopefully.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'm hoping, but you will not be. I'm hoping to get to Georgetown for the first time on my boat.
Nice.
Maybe November, December. But you guys won't be there.
No,
we won't. But
we'll be flying back here December 2.
Okay.
But you will have 350 other boats to have fun with.
Is that smart on my part?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
That should be your base. That should be your base.
We got a couple of remarks here. Let's see.
Oh.
William Lyons. Hi, guys. Thank you for the helpful tips.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
And Mike Kuntz. He's the one that got the, was it the 380?
Oh, you're very welcome.
In Key West. So
very welcome.
He's always on here. And then William says Bell's watching too. So I guess.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's my Miami team, man. That my best favorite Miami team right there. So much fun.
And if anybody else wants to comment,
you'll have to meet them sometime, Tinsley.
Yeah, go to Miami.
Go
to Miami and go to No Name Harbor.
Yeah, before you go to the Bahamas, go to Miami and meet Belle and Bill. Yep.
Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna be going through all these podcasts, especially the ones about the Bahamas.
You need to get
I'm
them
gonna be
on.
timing it just like you do it with the wind and the front.
You need to get them on to talk about Biscayne Bay.
Okay.
Biscayne Bay is the top sailing destination on the East Coast.
Absolutely.
I know you said that's your happy place too.
Hands down. It's there in Block Island. You got to have Block Island.
Okay, William, please email me at saltyabandon@gmail.com because Hayden says you have to come on. So that's a direct order.
There you go.
From the boss.
They have an Island Packet 420 in Miami.
Yep.
Okay, and let's.
They know Miami. They know Biscayne Bay.
Okay, and if you want to follow these guys, they're at SV Island Spirit on everything.
Yes.
You're basically everywhere.
Yes.
And you can also, if you have an Island Packet, you can join the Island Packet Owners Association or Yacht Owners Association Facebook page, which these guys run.
Yep.
And it's the best, especially if you want to find some information about any Island Packet. And you guys are also brokers. So let's give a plug for that. Go ahead and
CJ Yacht Sales in west coast of Florida, St. Pete area. We are yacht brokers with them. It was the former Whitaker Yacht Sales team that moved over with our lead broker, CJ Clint Jordan. So we take listings and help people find the Island Packet that they want.
Yeah. So when sailing season ends for you, then you're back into helping buyers find packets.
I've helped a bunch of buyers this winter already. So, yeah.
Oh, you were doing it while you were out there?
Yeah, I help buyers and bring them in and turn them over. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So William said he will email me. So
there we go.
Good.
There's our Biscayne Bay team. That's your next interview.
I'm gonna be there.
Great.
I'm going to be there this fall. So okay,
good
guys.
For you.
All right. Thank you very much, Tinsley.
Once again, a great podcast with you guys. Thank you so much. And we'll see you again soon. We're going to talk about Martinique.
Okay.
So what do we say?
Salty Bandit. It's Salty Bandit out.